So, Dr. Fatima, sorry, I'm not a doctor, but even though genetically you might be predisposed to obesity, I believe that with an optimal diet, exercise routine, sleep management, stress management, you can definitely out-train obesity. Alright guys, sorry, I was just getting educated. So, what I wanted to talk about this week, or one thing that I wanted to talk about this week, is I was just reading an article and then also watching the Joe Rogan show with, what's his name? Lex? I don't know his last name. But they were commenting on this article that I was reading. They're talking about Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford. And this is a doctor who's going to be a member on the Biden administration's panel to set and determine new dietary guidelines for Americans. And what she says is that the number one cause of obesity is genetics. She goes on to say that means if you are born to parents that have obesity, you are 50 to 80% more likely to have the disease yourself, disease meaning obesity, even with optimal diet, exercise, sleep management, and stress management. So she says it's like with all this, the chances of you still being obese are rather high. Now, I agree that genetics definitely play a role in obesity. My dad's side of the family, my opa was obese. My dad was obese, but with diet and exercise, he's actually able to get rid of most of that. And like my brother has a couple extra pounds, but then my youngest brother is actually fairly jacked. The genetic component to that, though, I think is just in terms of like metabolism regulation, most likely. So I'd say I probably have slower metabolism, especially if I compare myself to my friend Braden, for instance. Obesity, obviously, in the long run is devastating on your health. So that's why I'm trying to get rid of that and drop the 100 pounds. That's why I'm taking you guys on this journey. But growing up, I was always a big kid. I think like even going back to grade six, I already weighed 100 kilos. So 100 kilos, what is that? That's like 200 pounds. So that's grade 6 at the age of, what is that, 12, 11? I think 11. At the age of 11, I was already 200 pounds, and that's like a grown man's weight, right? So I've always struggled with obesity. But what I disagree with a statement, and this is also what Joe Rogan and Lex were talking about in their podcast, is that you are not able to train that away. So yes, it's going to be harder for you to do that, especially with a predisposition or a genetic predisposition to being obese, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do it. I believe, and what I'm trying to show with documenting this journey that I'm on, is that with the appropriate diet, exercise, sleep pattern, healthy lifestyle choices, and habits, you are able to out-train, out-eat obesity. And that obesity doesn't have to be a life sentence for you. And like we've talked about again and again, it's just the aspect of discipline, right? And I think 90% of weight loss is 100% psychological. And if you guys follow me at all on Instagram, I'll link my Instagram here, but you will see that I harp on this all the time, because unless you get your mind right, you will always come up with excuses to eat what you're not supposed to eat, to go over your calories for the day, and to just honestly give up on your journey, right? And that's what I don't want you guys to do. Weight loss is relatively simple. You eat in a calorie deficit, you exercise, and the pounds will shed. The hard part is up here, and that's what you guys have to focus on. So Dr. Fatima, sorry, I'm not a doctor, but even though genetically you might be predisposed to obesity, I believe that with an optimal diet, exercise routine, sleep management, stress management, you can definitely out-train obesity, get healthy, and live a happy life. So I'm gonna get back to my research here, and we'll talk to you a little later. All right, guys. So this morning is kind of atypical for me. I get a day off. This doesn't happen too often. I came off of a week of 4 doubles, so working 16-hour days all week pretty much, except for yesterday. So this is what I mean when I say that I'm no one special, is I work just as much as the rest of you. I understand that it's difficult when you're working all day to really prioritize food and weight loss to a certain extent. That's why for me, it's like I try and prepare my lunches in advance. Why it's important for me to have lunches, dinners available that I know the calories of, so I'm still able to eat in a calorie deficit and just grab it on my way out. When you're working 16 hours, so from 7 to 11, you also don't have too much time to sleep. So sleep definitely suffered this week. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get a little bit more of that. But then having a day off like this is great because it allows me to A, catch up on sleep, B, prepare for the next week, and then also do some filming for you guys. It's good to have things that you can focus on and improve, but it's also really important to give thanks and put yourself in a headspace of gratitude. Always be grateful for where you are, because that could always be worse. So yeah, I wanted to leave you guys with that. I'm just gonna do some more journaling here, finish my coffee, and then it's 10 o'clock, so it's almost time to make some food. But we'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, today we're gonna make some protein pancakes. It's my first time making it, so stick with me. I prefer to eat a little bit more boring than this. This is too much work for me. Okay, I don't like putting this much effort into what I eat. But we have a new student from Italy, and I have a day off, so I can make some more food. That's a little bit more exciting. Okay, so there's a day off. Let me get more. So protein pancakes. This is the recipe that I found that I think was the most in line with how I diet. You guys know I like to stay away from carbs, so the only real carb in here is your rolled oats, and there's some in the cottage cheese here as well. But other than that, protein, protein, protein. So that's what we want to stick with. And I'll put the recipe in the description where I found it, and then I'm probably just gonna link it here on the side here too. But we'll need 2 cups of cottage cheese. It says a cup of almond meal. I don't have almond flour, so what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna use rolled oats, and then I'm just gonna grind it up into flour with a mixer. We need 2/3 a cup of vanilla protein powder, and that's this. We need 6 eggs, some baking powder. We'll do some oil in the pan just to make sure that the pancakes don't stick, but I don't want to add any more butter, no more fat than I need. Then that's already in the cottage cheese and the eggs. So that's that. Instead, I'm going to add some vanilla extract, give it a little bit more vanilla-y flavor, and that's that. So stick with me and let's make it. For the test, let's rip one in half. Yeah, not bad. Hey guys, so I'm just finishing up the editing on the video for this week, and just going over it. I started it with talking about how the reason you are obese is mainly because of your genetics. And even though there might be some truth to that, I didn't want to end the video with that being like the takeaway message of it. My takeaway message for this video is that you are strong enough to fight what you've been born with. if you educate yourself and you make the right choices and you act consistently and you establish habits, healthy habits, there is no reason why you will not be able to lose the weight and beat obesity. We are not the same person that we were yesterday, and we continue to evolve throughout our entire life. And so the choices that we make every day determine where we are going to be in the future. The other thing I wanted to say at the end of this video is I didn't want this to come across as me disparaging my parents or my family, my ancestry, where I come from, because the only reason I am who I am today is because of my family. The only reason I have what I have today is because of my family. And I thank God every day that I was born into the family that I was born into. And sure, that might come with obesity, but it also comes with the strength to beat obesity. And I think honestly, like, that strength is within each and every one of us. And I want you to find that and tap into it. And with that, beat obesity once and for all. So, thanks, Mom and Dad. I thank God for you. And yeah, honestly, I think the greatest gift I've ever received, next to my wife, is being born into the family that I was born into. Obesity and all. But that is the message that I wanted to leave you guys. You are stronger than your genetics. There is nature, there is nurture, but there is also you and your determination and your willingness to fight each and every day. And like I told you guys, I'm no one special. So if I can do it, so can you. Enjoy the video.